Day, everyone. So for today, we will be discussing about our lesson for this week. And after studying about the academic writing convention and the features of academic writing, we will be dealing with writing critic paper and analyzing how to critique an art. So, class, at the end of this lesson, you will be able to state the thesis statement of an academic text, formulate own thesis statement based on an assigned topic, determine the parts of a critic paper, use appropriate critical views in writing a critic such as formalism, feminism, and many more. And lastly, you have to write objective, balanced review or critic of a work of art, an event, or a program. You may check your book on page 41 to 43 to have a warm up activity, which will be all about applying critiquing skills in evaluating a work of art, an event, or a program. So, for now, we will talk about art critic. So, what is an art critic? An art critic is an oral or written discussion strategy used to describe, analyze, interpret, and evaluate works of art. Doing art criticism is like playing a detective. You must assume that the artist has a secret message hidden inside the work, as well as your job is to solve the mystery and find the message. Class, in an art critic, it is a structured way of talking or writing about a work of art. It also involves four main steps, such as describing, analyzing, interpreting, and evaluating. Class, when describing one um, art, it focus on what you have seen, such as the colors, shapes, lines, textures, and subjects. Meanwhile, in analyzing, the attention shifts, it will shift to how these elements are organized, such as balance, contrast, or rhythm. In terms of interpretation, it goes deeper by asking what the work or what the artwork might mean, what feelings it conveys, or what message the artist may be trying to communicate. And lastly, in terms of evaluation, it is about making a judgment of the success or effectiveness of the work based on one's understanding of its purpose. So we have Feldman's method of art criticism, and we have the four steps of art criticism. So you may check your workbook on page 43 to 45. So we have description, analysis, interpretation, and judgment. In terms of description, you have to describe the work without using value words such as beautiful or ugly. So our guide question for this would be, what do I see? So you are going to describe it literally, objectively. So what you have seen, you have to state that. Okay. So for example, an art is colorful. Then you should describe what are the colors used in that artwork. In terms of analysis, it describes how the work is organized as a complete composition. We may have guide questions in analysis, like how is the work organized? In terms of interpretation, it describes how the work makes you think or feel. Our guide question for this will be, what is the artist saying? In terms of judgment, it will present your opinion about the work's success or failure. Our guide question for this is, what do I think of the work? So we have focus questions for art critics specifically for description. So it's like describing something. Okay, what you have seen, what you have heard. So number one, what is the written description on the label or in the program about the work? What is the title and who is or are the artists? When and where was the work created? Number four, describe the elements of the work. So does it have line, movement, light, space? Number 5, you have to describe the technical qualities of the works. Number 6, we have to describe the subject matter. What is it all about? Are there recognizable images? So it's like you're just describing. Okay, kung ano yung nakikita natin, yun yung sasabihin natin without any judgment or without any interpretation. Now, in terms of analysis, we have this focus questions such as how is the work constructed or planned? So these questions may ask you to examine the structure of the artwork. So for example, class, in a painting, you look at how the artist organized the lines, shapes, and space. In terms of a play or performance naman, you analyze how it is divided into acts or movements. The goal of analysis is to divide or to see the blueprint or arrangement that gives the work order and flow. For number 2, identify some of the similarities throughout the work. So like for example, repetition of lines, two songs in each act. So in this part, you are asked to find patterns and repetitions. So meron bang repeated elements like certain colors, shapes, sounds, or motifs create unity and rhythm. So they often guide the audience attention and strengthen the meaning of the work. Aside from that, recognizing similarities show how the artist ties different parts together into a cohesive whole. Number 3, identify some of the points of emphasis in the work. So this focuses on the focal points, such as the areas that stand out the most. In visual art, this could be a brightly colored figure in the center. In terms of music naman, it could be a powerful chorus. In terms of theater, it might be a dramatic scene. So these emphasized parts are often the most meaningful and help reveal the artist's message. Now, pagdating naman sa number 4, if the work has subjects or characters, so what are the relationships between or among them? So this question will deal with interaction and connection. So for example, in a painting, it could mean how figures are positioned. Are they close together? Distant ba? Or are they facing each other or turned away? In literature naman or theater, it asks about how characters relate, like through conflict, harmony, or dependence. So understanding these relationships may provide insights into story, emotions, or social message the artwork conveys. So that is all about analysis. Now, in terms of interpretation, so number 1 question is describe the expressive qualities you find in the work. This question asks you to look beyond the physical details and focus on the feelings or emotions that the artwork communicates. So, expressive qualities may include sadness, joy, calmness, even anger and mystery could be considered. So, for example, dark colors and heavy brush strokes might suggest sorrow for a specific art. So, while in terms of bright colors naman and playful shapes, it might suggest happiness. Number 2, what expressive language would you use to describe the qualities? So you are encouraged to use strong descriptive words that capture the emotional character of the artwork. Instead of just saying the painting is colorful, you should describe it as if it is colorful, then it means that it is cheerful or playful. Instead of saying the play is dramatic, you should say tragic or disturbing or maybe hilarious could be. The right words make your interpretation vivid and precise. So number 3, does the work remind you of the other things you have experienced? So it will connect the artwork to your personal experience or to familiar images. For example, a stormy seascape might remind you of a time you felt troubled or overwhelmed, right? So also, a sculpture of a mother and a child might make you think of family love. So that is about interpretation. So it's all about the message. So making analogies and metaphors deepens you or your interpretation because it links art to life. So number four, how does the work relate to other ideas or events in the world and or in your studies? So this broadens interpretation by relating the artwork to real world context or academic learning. So for example, a mural about poverty, it might connect to social issues, right? So this social issues discussed in current events. So kung ano yung nangyayari. Like for example, what's happening now. It's all about corruption. So maybe there is an art that you can interpret. What is the meaning of that? So another thing is a classical song might relate to lessons in history or literature. So this shows that art is not isolated. It also reflects and interacts with society, the culture, and knowledge. So that is all about the interpretation. Meanwhile, lastly is the judgment. So what are the qualities of the work? What qualities, rather, of the work make you feel it is a success or failure? So this question asks you to make a judgment based on how well the artwork communicates its message or achieves its purpose. So a work may be successful if it is creative, skillfully made, and emotionally powerful. It may also feel less successful if it lacks clarity, for example, lacks balance, or the meaning of it is quite vague. So in this part, you give reasons for your opinions, not just likes or dislikes. So number two, compare it with similar works that you think you are good or bad. So evaluation becomes stronger when you use comparison. So that's the key. So for example, you might compare one painting to another artwork with the same theme and explain which one communicates more and effectively and why. In terms of music naman, you can compare performances of the same song. So this aspect could help highlight strength or weaknesses by looking at standards set by other works. Number three, what criteria can you list to help others judge this work? So this invites you or this make you to set standards or guidelines for evaluation. So you have to list criteria to make your judgment fair and more systematic because it is based on clear measures, not just personal taste, right? So for number four, how original is the work? Why do you feel this work is original or not original? So you have to look for the uniqueness of the art of an artwork. So for example, a painting may be original because it presents a new style or perspective, while another may seem unoriginal if it only copies existing ideas, something like that. So asking these questions will help you see whether the artist contributes something fresh or simply they just repeat what others have already done. So those are the four steps of art criticism. We'll start from description, describing, we have to analyze, we have to interpret, and we have to give our judgment. Now let's move to the elements of art and also the principles of art. So we have elements of art such as line, shape, color, value, texture, form, and space. So for the principles, it's all about balance, emphasis, movement, proportion, rhythm, repetition or pattern, harmony, and unity. And lastly is variety. So we are familiar with this because during your maybe your elementary days or junior high school days, you tackled about elements of an art, which is all about line. So it is a continuous mark made on a surface that has length and direction but no thickness. So a line could be straight, curved, thick, thin, and so on and so forth. So anyway, you may check this on your workbook, page 43 to 45. Now, in terms of shape, shapes can be geometric. So like squares or circle or free-form shapes found in nature. So those are shape. Now, in terms of color, consists of hue, which is it is all about the name of the color, the saturation, um, and it is an element because a color can convey emotions and set the mood of the artwork. Meanwhile, for the value, so value is a crucial for creating contrast, depth, and dimension in a work of art. So artists use value to suggest volume, light, and shadow. So next is for the texture. So texture can be smooth, rough, soft, hard, or any combination thereof. So an artist, they can create texture through various techniques. Like, yeah, when we are writing an art or doing an art, we may use brush strokes. We have to layer to have for our art to have a texture, and mixed media as well. Now, in terms of form, so forms can be geometric as well. So, like for example, cubes, is it a sphere, or it can be organic. So, unlike shapes, um, forms occupy space and can be viewed from different angles. And for last one, for the space, so it can be positive because the space occupied by objects, or it can be negative because the empty space around objects. So artists manipulate space to create depth, perspective, and composition. Now let's move to the principle. So we have balance. Okay, so we have it refers, of course, to the distribution of visual weight in a composition. So we have symmetrical balance, asymmetrical balance, the radial balance. So we have when we say symmetrical, both sides of the artwork are identical or very similar, right? So in terms of asymmetrical, different elements are arranged in a way that balance but it balances the visual weight without mirroring. So radial balance naman, elements radiate out from a central point, creating a circular composition. So next is for the emphasis. So it is a focal point of an artwork. So the area that draws the viewer's attention first. So the techniques for this, for the emphasis, is the artists create emphasis through contrast, placement, color, size, and detail. So it also helps to guide the viewer's eye to important aspects of the piece. Now, in terms of movement, so it refers to the way a viewer's eye travels through an artwork. So for example, yung mga artists, they use lines, shapes, colors, and forms to create a sense of action or direction. For the proportion, so proportion is the relationship in size between different elements of an artwork. So it's also important because it helps to create a sense of scale and affect the overall composition. Rhythm, it is an art refers to a visual tempo or beat created through repetition of elements. So another technique for rhythm is the artist create the rhythm through in on art they are creating it through patterns, yung repetition of shapes, colors, and lines that will guide the viewer's eye around the artwork. And for the repetition and pattern, it involves using the same element multiple times. Okay, while the pattern refers to a predictable arrangement of elements. So both techniques create unity and cohesive within a piece. So it will enhance visual interest and reinforce themes or motifs. So in terms of harmony naman or unity, so it refers to the sense of coherence and wholeness in an artwork. So wherein yung mga elements, they work together to create a unified composition. Okay, so the consistency, in order to have a harmony in an art, there should be consistency. So for example, consistent use of colors, shapes, and styles that will ensure all elements will complement each other. And lastly is about the variety. So it involves using different elements and principles in an artwork to create interest and complexity. So, why is variety important? Because while unity brings together, pagdating naman sa variety, it keeps the artwork engaging. Okay? So, for example, the artists use contrast, different shapes, colors, and textures to prevent the monotony. Okay? So, those are the elements and principles of an art. When it comes to theories of judging an art naman, so we have three theories. Okay? So, theory is the imitationalism, okay, formalism, emotionalism. So when we when we are talking about imitationalism, so from the word imitation, so it is when people think that art should imitate what we see in the real world. So in terms of this theory, the imitationalism, it is a theory that judges art based on how realistically it represents the real world. Kapag nagaya ba talaga niya yung real world context natin. So that is imitationalism. So for example, if a painting, sculpture, or drawing looks very similar to what we actually see in nature or daily life, it means that the art is successful. Okay, this theory is imitationalism. So for example, yung art is it is a really realistic portrait. So it captures exact facial details. So ibig sabihin, it is under this theory, imitationalism. Okay? The closer the work is to reality, the higher its artistic quality is judged. Okay, so that is about imitationalism. We imitate what is happening in reality through an art. Okay, for the formalism, so formalism judges art by focusing on the design, arrangement, and use of art elements. So, like for example, the elements a while ago that we discussed. So those are line, color, shape, texture, space, value, and even the principles, okay, such as the balance, contrast, rhythm, emphasis, and so on and so forth. So the subject, in terms of formalism, does not matter as much as how well the parts of the works or part of the artwork are organized. So, for example, an abstract, yung abstract painting with the bold colors and strong balance may be praised, even though it does not represent real objects. So quite opposite siya sa imitationalism, right? So formalism, it's all about how you use the principles and elements of an art effectively. Okay. Meanwhile, for the emotionalism, so it values art that creates a strong emotional response in the viewer. So from the word emotion, so it does not matter if the artwork looks realistic or it follows strict design rules. So kasi yung imitationalism, it looks real. In terms of formalism naman, it follows strict designs and results. So yung emotionalism naman is ang nagmamatter sa kanya is whether it makes people feel something, such as like for example joy. They the art could make the people sad, angry, peaceful, fear, or afraid, or even inspired. So for example, yung painting with distorted figures tapos may mga dark colors. So it may be considered great art if it successfully conveys a feeling of suffering or struggle or na-interpret or na-feel ng mga viewers yung message mismo ng art na yun. So that is all about emotionalism. So the intention of the artist is to express his emotion or to give emotions for to give emotions to that artwork. Okay, for the viewers to feel. Okay, so those are the theories of judging art. So aside from that, so after discussing about theories of judging on art and the elements and principles of art, so we have to you may do this activity since we don't have class, but hopefully when we meet, okay, when we have our meeting, hopefully you'll be able to pass this. Okay, so this is an art wherein you have to critique this example. So this came from CPOR Festival. So using the art elements, art principles, theories of judging art, and even the four steps by Feldman for critiquing an art, you have to critique the artwork provided. So this one, okay, the illustration on the right side. So you have to critique it. You have to do this, okay, and then hopefully you'll be able to pass it on our next meeting, which will be, I think, Thursday or Friday. Okay, so now let's move after knowing the theories of judging an art and the principles and elements of art. Now let's move to this one. So we'll be able to know what is a critic paper. But before that, let's discuss what is a thesis statement. Okay, so thesis statement, it is the central idea of a multiple paragraph composition. So it is a sentence that guides, controls, and unifies ideas when writing. So all other ideas present in essay revolve around the thesis statement. So it is the central idea of the paper. Okay? So your statement or thesis statement, i-expand nyo pa yon or i-expound nyo pa yung information na yan pagdating dun sa paper natin. Whether it is a critic paper, position paper, and other academic writing. Okay? But let's now identify the key elements for a strong thesis statement. So you may check your workbook for this. That is on pages 49 to 50. Okay? So we have this 8 key elements for a strong thesis statement. So number one, it is not a fact. Okay? It is not a fact. So a fact is irrefutable. So using it as a thesis statement does not present an argument. So in terms of thesis statement, you should also give your stance or your claims about it. So that's why you should not provide fact muna. Okay? So number two, it is not a question. So a question does not convey a specific claim or viewpoint on a topic. Number three, it is not an announcement. Okay, you have to avoid stating the topic you plan to discuss in the text. So it is not just introducing your topic. Okay, so number four, it is not too broad. So make a specific and focused thesis statement instead of a vague or confusing one. So it is number one rule in academic writing. You have to be specific. Okay, you have to focus your paper on what should be the information you need to provide. Okay, and then for next is it is a complete sentence. So you have to present the thesis as a complete sentence to help the reader clearly grasp the main idea of the text, because when your reader read your thesis statement, maintindihan na nila kung tungkol saan ba yung paper natin. Okay, and the next is it requires support. So to make the thesis statement persuasive, you should use facts. Okay? You should use surveys, even the reports and other evidence to support your claims or opinions on the topic. Okay? So next, it takes a stand. So the thesis should clearly convey your stance on a subject or a topic. And last one, it is arguable. So thesis should be contestable, debatable, or arguable to encourage critical thinking, both for the writer and the reader, as they must construct reasoned arguments. Okay, these are the key elements of writing a thesis statement. So there should be balance between your stance and providing a fact. Okay, now I have here an example on how to write a thesis statement. So we have guide questions for this. Okay, so for the guide question, so what is your topic? What is your stance of claim? What is your rationale or basis for this stance? Number four is what acknowledgement will you make to qualify your stance and consider opposition? And lastly, you have to combine all the things that you gathered. Okay, so for number one, what is your topic? So for this part, this is the subject of your paper. So the main idea will discuss or critique. So it should be specific enough to focus your writing. So but also broad enough to allow analysis. So for example, it's all about the growing obesity problem in the Philippines. So your topic should be who's to blame for the obesity epidemic. Okay? So for number two, what is your stance of claim? Okay? This is your position or argument. So, sa inyo manggagaling to. Okay, now in terms of writing a critic paper, so ano yung stance or claim nyo pagdating dun sa video advertisement na napanood natin? Okay? So, since this is your position or argument, about the topic or about the advertisement, it shows where you stand and what you want to prove. Ano ba yung gusto nyong i-prove dito? Okay, bakit after criticizing it? So, for example, parents should teach their children, okay, parents should teach their children healthy eating habits. Bakit ito yung nasabi natin? Because our topic here is about who's to blame for the obesity epidemic. Okay? So that's why your claim is parents should teach their children healthy eating habits. Okay? And then for this one, what is your rationale or ano ba yung basis nyo for this stance? Okay? For this stance. So, bakit nyo nasabi na parents should teach their children healthy eating habits? Ano yung reason? So, dito na papasok yung rationale natin. So, because parents are the first to teach and model healthy eating habits. So, in this part, okay, this explains why you are taking that position. Okay? It gives the logical reason or evidence behind your claim. So, bakit ganito yung claim nyo? Bakit kailangan parents yung magturo sa mga bata? Because you have to give your claim. You have to give your reason or rationale. Bakit yung parents yung kailangan magturo? Okay? Now dito sa example natin, because parents are the first to teach and model healthy eating habits. So maybe because, diba, the smallest unit ng society natin is home. That's why it should start from the parents. Okay? And the number 4, what acknowledgement will you make to qualify your stance and consider a position? So this shows, okay, for this part, this shows that you are aware of other perspectives or counter arguments. So, it makes your thesis more balanced and credible. So, sabi nga natin, di ba, an academic paper must be balanced. That's why we have to consider other sides. So, it is not just about giving our stance and rationale, but also considering the other point of view. So, ito yung another point of view. So, sabi natin, sa stance natin, parents should teach their children about eating habits or healthy eating habits. So, because yung mga parents daw, yung healthy, another perspective should be like this. So, when you are giving acknowledgement, you could say, although somewhat to blame is the fast food industry for the obesity epidemic. So, aside from parents, may iba pang factor na pwede tayong ibigay. Okay, this is counter argument or other sides of the argument. Okay, so we always have to be balanced by acknowledging different arguments or different perspectives. So itinatawag siya na counter arguments. Okay, so we are giving acknowledgement because we have to consider it. Hindi porket nagbigay tayo ng acknowledgement or other arguments, hindi na strong yung stance natin. It is just you're considering other side or other perspectives. Okay? Because again, you have to make your thesis statement balanced. Okay? So now, when we're going to combine these guide questions, we will be able to form a strong, clear, and arguable thesis statement. So, ganito na siya. So, yung qualification natin or yung acknowledgement, stance. Okay, ano ba yung mga stance natin? Ito siya. Rational. Okay, ano yung reason natin? Bakit yun yung stance natin? So, if your thesis statement has topic, stance, rational, and acknowledgement, then you'll be able to produce strong thesis statement. Okay, so ito na yung thesis statement natin. Although some blame the fast food industry for the obesity epidemic, parents are more at fault because they are the first to teach and model healthy eating habits to their children. So, we acknowledge, but then at the end of this sentence, bumalik pa rin tayo dun sa stance and rational natin. And now, our paper will revolve around this thesis statement. All the information na ipoprovide natin sa body should be based in this thesis statement. Okay, so another construction for thesis statement, like for this, um, parents should teach their children healthy eating habits because they are the first to model proper nutrition, although the fast food industry also plays a role in the obesity epidemic in the Philippines. So, pwedeng ganun yung construction natin. Pero, to make it more clear, so ganito yung construction natin. Again, when you are making a thesis statement, you should think of your topic. Okay, for example, yun nga, yung gumagawa kayo ng video advertisement. So your topic should be all about that video advertisements. So ngayon, what is your stance or claim about it? About that advertisement, then you should write it. Okay? What is your rationale? So bakit yun yung reason nyo? Or ano yung reason? Bakit yun yung naging stance natin? And then acknowledgement, it is the other perspective, other side of the argument, or it is also known as a counter argument. So that is how we write a thesis statement. Okay? So, if you have time, you may try to do this activity. Okay, time to train one. So it's on your workbook, page 52. It's all about analyzing, okay, analyzing the thesis statement given on that page. Okay, now let's move to writing a critic paper. So, again, here we go. So after knowing how to write thesis statement, okay, you have to know what is a critic paper. So it is an academic text that involves evaluating and analyzing a specific piece of work. It provides a critical assessment of the strengths and weaknesses of the work being reviewed, offering insights and suggestions for improvement. Okay, again, na-discuss na natin siya before. When we are doing a critic paper, we are looking for the strengths and weaknesses of a specific work. And then we have to provide insights and suggestions for improvement. Okay, it is not just about judgment, but we have to critique it. Okay, so now what are the parts of a critic paper? Okay, we have three parts. Okay, we have the introduction, we have the body, and we have the conclusion. Now, in terms of introduction, dito natin nilalagay yung thesis statement natin. Okay? So, sometimes, or most of the time, nasa last sentence siya ng introduction natin, yung thesis statement. In terms of body, we have two parts, the summary, the critical evaluation, and for the conclusion. And of course, after writing your critic paper, do not forget to write your reference list, especially if you have any citations from that. Okay, you have to cite. It's either CSE or APA tayo. Okay, so now let's discuss the introduction. So we have the structure of introduction. So these are the contents of introduction, and later magbibigay ako ng example showing you how are you going to follow these steps. Okay, so we have note here wherein a complete citation of the article goes to the top of the page. So you may try to see page 57 because may example dyan na bago yung mismong introduction, nakalagay dyan yung citation. Okay, or parang reference type. Okay, so now let's start about the structure. Let's start with the structure of introduction. So the first part is all about acknowledge the work being evaluated by citing its title or name, date it was created or published, and the name of the author or creator. So next is define the main argument or purpose of the work. Third, explain the context in which the work was created. And lastly, construct a concluding sentence that signposts what your evaluation of the work will be, whether it is a positive, a negative, or a mixed evaluation. So this part, dito natin ilalagay yung thesis statement na ginawa natin. So again, before anything else, class, bago kayo magawa ng critic paper about video advertisement, you have to write your thesis statement first. Okay, without thesis statement, you'll not be able to write critic paper. So now let's analyze this. Okay, so again, step one for the introduction, you have to acknowledge the work being evaluated by citing its title and other information. So this is an example of critic paper, which is all about obesity. Okay, so as you can see, the first sentence in this paragraph is like this. The 2021 television commercial laban sa obesity, kumain ng wasto, produced by the Department of Health or DOH, aims to raise awareness about the alarming increase in obesity cases in the Philippines. So, kung makikita natin, it acknowledged the work, nilagay yung title, sino yung nag-produce or sino yung nag-create or nag-publish. Okay? So, the first part should be like this. Okay? Meanwhile, for the second part, after acknowledging the work, so you have to define the argument or the main argument or purpose of the work. So again, nilagay natin dito, inintroduce natin ano ba yung information or basic information no advertisement na yun or kung ano yung piece of work na kinikitik natin. Then the second sentence or maybe second part of this introduction should be all about definition of main argument or yung purpose of work. Okay, so example dito is the commercial conveys the argument that obesity primarily results from the frequent consumption of fast food and sugar-sweetened beverages, and it underscores the importance of balanced meals, exercise, and proper lifestyle choices in preventing weight-related illness. Okay, so ginawa daw tong advertisement na to or commercial na to para ito yung reason. Okay, so make sure that you know the reason or you analyze your video advertisement. Bakit ginawa yun? Then dito natin siya ilalagay. Okay, that is the step number 2. Meanwhile, for step number 3, explain the context in which the work was created. Okay, and bring context. Okay, so as you can see, we have here, this is the context. The commercial was created in the context of a nationwide rise in obesity cases, particularly among Filipino youth, as documented by the Food and Nutrition Research Institute, or FNRI. So, syempre, depende yun. Okay, you have to analyze. So, you have to explain the context ng video advertisement na pinanood natin. Okay, napapanoorin nyo. Okay, anong context ba? Bakit ginawa kaya yun? Okay, and then for the step number 4, construct, or step number 3 rather, sorry, it's step number 4 because step number 3 is all about explaining the context in which the work was created. Meanwhile, for step number 4, this should be 4. Okay, let me edit this. Okay, this should be 4. Okay, construct a concluding sentence that signposts what your evaluation of the work will be, whether it is a positive, a negative, or a mixed evaluation. So, the last part, I mentioned a while ago that in the last part, dito na natin nilalagay yung thesis statement. So, yung example na thesis statement na ginawa natin, dito natin nilagay. So, ito yung concluding sentence. This surge coincides with rapid urbanization, economic changes, and the influence of aggressive fast food marketing that have altered the dietary patterns of many households. Although the fast food industry is frequently portrayed as the primary cause of obesity, parents are more accountable because they are the first to introduce, regulate, and model dietary habits for their children. So, as you can see, nandito yung thesis statement natin. Kasi nakalagay dito sa last part ng introduction, you should write a concluding sentence that signpost or it is a sign or signal kung ano ba yung content ng paper natin or what should be your evaluation all about. Okay? So this is all about writing or stating the thesis statement. Okay? Again, for step number 1 in writing introduction, you have to acknowledge the work being evaluated by giving the information, the date, the author, the publisher, the creator, and so on. For number 2, you have to define argument or purpose of the work. So bakit kaya nila ginawa yung advertisement na yun or commercial or specific piece of work. The number 3, explain the context in which the work was created. Step number 4, you have to explain kung tungkol saan particularly or what is the central idea of your paper or by stating your thesis statement here. Okay, so that is how we write at least a critic paper introduction. Okay? Now, for the body naman, so we have two structures of body. So the first part of body is summary. So second is critical evaluation. So in terms of summary, this section of the body should be shorter than the critical evaluation. So you're just going to summarize the main points of the assigned work and objectively describe how the author presented these points. So it is like description. Okay, kung ano yung nakita nyo dun sa video advertisement or kung ano yung nakita nyo sa isang artwork, you're just going to describe it. Okay, sulat lang natin ano yung nakita natin, may mga ano yung mga elements or principles of art na nakita natin doon. So you have to give, okay, you have to um, explain it objectively. Okay, without any interpretation pa siya. So it's all about descriptive lang. Okay. Meanwhile, for the critical evaluations, you have to provide a systematic and detailed critical evaluation of all the elements of your assigned work. So, assessing how all these elements come together to achieve the author or creator's purpose in writing or creating this work. So, after the summary or after just describing it objectively, so now you have to evaluate critically naman kung paano ba ginamit yung mga elements dun sa advertisement na yon, dun sa artwork na yon. Okay? You have to provide systematic and detailed evaluation or critical evaluation. So, I have here example. So, ayan. So, sabi nga natin, summary should be shorter. Okay, this is the first part of the body. So, ibig sabihin, kapag gumawa kayo ng critic paper, your body should have two paragraphs. One for the summary, second for the critical evaluation. Okay? It summarized the main points of assigned work objectively. So, itong summary natin, ito yung summary dito sa introduction na ginawa natin nung una. Okay, it's all about obesity and how to prevent obesity. So, yung summary natin, for example, yung commercial na yon, the commercial demonstrates strengths in clarity and accessibility. By using simple language and familiar scenarios, the message becomes understandable to a broad audience, including household and students who are most vulnerable to poor eating habits. So as you can see, meron provided dyan or may indicated dyan na including households and students who are most vulnerable to poor eating habits. Ibig sabihin, nakita nila or they have seen from that commercial that there are students, okay, and even households are exposed in that commercial. Okay, and then another thing, the visuals effectively contrast the negative effects of fast food consumption with the benefits of balanced nutrition, thereby reinforcing the intended message. The inclusion of authoritative figures such as healthcare. Okay, this is very objective because ito yung nakita nila. Okay, such as healthcare workers, lends credibility to the content and aligns it with national health objectives. So, meaning to say, in terms of summary, just going to summarize, okay? Summarize it descriptively. Again, kung ano lang yung nakita natin, kung ano yung elements of art or principles of art na nandyan, yun lang yung ilalagay natin. Okay, for example, may tatlong bata, may mga students, okay, may mga kumakain na isang pamilya. So you have to summarize rather. Okay, that is all about summary. Now, after summarizing yung mismong commercial or mismong advertisement, you have to give your systematic and detailed critical evaluation. So in critical evaluation, you have to provide your systematic and detailed critical evaluation of all the elements of this advertisement or commercial. So in this part, as you can see, we provide in this portion, we are going to provide the strengths and weaknesses of this video advertisement or commercial. As you can see, we have the first sentence. However, the commercial presents certain limitations. So you are going to provide the limitations, okay, that you have found from that commercial or video advertisement, yung gagawin yung advertisement or DA. So while it addresses the harmful effects of fast food and sweetened beverages, it overlooks the deeper socioeconomic factors that shape dietary choices in the Philippines, such as poverty, affordability of healthy food, and aggressive marketing strategies of fast food chains. So, on the second sentences, okay, so binigay doon or explain kung ano yung mga na-address nung commercial. Okay? Meanwhile, in this part, so you may also provide the suggestion or recommendation kung ano yung dapat pang i-provide nung mga creator. Okay? So, same goes with the video advertisement na ikikritik natin. So, that is all about critical evaluation. So, again, in critical evaluation, you're going to provide na the strength and weakness, and you have to give recommendation on how to improve the weaknesses of that piece of work. Okay, kasi dun sa summary kanina, it's all about the description, or you're going to explain descriptively kung ano yung content nung commercial or kung ano yung content nung video advertisement na yun. Okay, so after the critical evaluation of the body, so let's move to the conclusion. So we have the structure of conclusion. So it's all about the overall evaluation of the work, a short recall of the key reasons why this evaluation was formed. In some circumstances, recommendations for improvement of the work may be provided, and it is important to take note that new idea or concepts related to the work should no longer be introduced or discussed in this section. So in this part, you're going to give your evaluation or overall evaluation. You have to restate your thesis statement as well, and of course you have to give your overall recommendation about the art or the piece of work. Okay, so let's try to analyze this example. Okay, the first step is about overall evaluation of the work. So the first sentence is all, or first two sentences are all about the your overall evaluation. So it's all about the commercial about obesity in the Philippines. So as you can see, the first sentence is, moreover, this commercial presents a timely and relevant message that addresses the growing obesity problem in the Philippines. Overall, it effectively communicates the importance of proper diet and lifestyle through clear visuals, relatable scenarios, and authoritative voices that strengthen its credibility. So it's your overall evaluation. That is based, of course, on your critical evaluation. Okay. Meanwhile, for the second step or second part of the conclusion, it should be a short recall of the key reasons why this evaluation was formed. So that it is based on the context, right? So this evaluation was formed based on its strength and clarity, accessibility, and ability to raise awareness, as well as its limitations in presenting obesity primarily as an issue of individual choice while neglecting socioeconomic and cultural influences. Okay, so you have to provide a short recall, okay, about the reasons bakit we conducted evaluation. And then for the last part of the conclusion, in some circumstances, sometimes recommendations for improvement of the work may be provided, but I suggest that you should provide your overall recommendations. Again, like the na-mention ko, your recommendations must be based on the strength and the weaknesses that you have found and you have explained on the critical evaluation part or dun sa body part natin. Okay? Body portion. Okay, so another thing to consider here is that you have to restate your thesis statement that you provided on the first part of your paper, which is all about which is the introduction. So although fast food, as you can see yung underline natin, yung first sentence, although the fast food industry is often identified as the main driver of the obesity epidemic, parents are more accountable because they are the first to introduce, regulate, and model dietary habits for their children. So this is our thesis statement. So this is the recommendation part. You next, to further enhance its impact, the commercial could incorporate a more comprehensive perspective that acknowledges structural barriers such as poverty, the affordability of nutritious food, and the aggressive marketing of unhealthy products. In this way, the work would not only encourage individual responsibility but also reflect the wider realities that contribute to the obesity crisis in the country. So in this part, upon giving the recommendations, it will make okay, it will give more insights for the creators kung paano pa nila maipapa-improve yung commercial na ginawa nila. Okay, so ganito yung gagawin natin. So you have to follow the structure. Yan, susundin lang natin yung structure para maging effective yung critic paper natin. Okay? And then after, of course, writing the conclusion, if you have any citation, if may mga citations tayo sa paper natin, do not forget to write or to provide the reference list. Okay? So now, let me just flash the instructions for the discourse assessment 3, which is all about writing a critic paper. So it is your first academic paper as a group. So you have to compose a critic paper with a minimum of 500 words based on the assigned video advertisement from the previous section of this lesson. So makikita natin siya sa SB. Okay, kung ano yung strand natin or kung ano yung track natin, yun yung video na i-critic natin. Okay? May label naman doon. Decide first on the thesis statement that will become the focus of your critic paper based on the assessment. Okay? Or yung exercise or yung example na binigay natin, pwede kayong mag-check doon kung paano gagawin yung thesis statement natin. Okay? Again, number 1 rule, make your thesis statement first before anything else, bago kayo gumawa ng content. Number 4, utilize the hamburger graphic organizer and the text box in your workbook when drafting your output. Strictly follow the parts of writing a critic paper. Review the previous sections of this lesson to serve as your guide in writing. Okay, then construct an appealing title for your critic paper. Observe the technical format below. So, meron naman tayong template dyan. So, pwede nyo check yung template sa schoolbook natin. Yun yung gamitin natin. Okay, each group should submit the draft, printed final output, as well as the AI and plagiarism reports. So, outputs without printed AI and plagiarism reports shall not be accepted. And of course, we have to observe proper format of citation, whether it is APA or CSE. Similarity report should only be 25% or below. Okay? The printed final output should be 1 to 2 pages only. So, yung content na nun from body, from introduction to conclusion, yung 1 to 2 pages. Excluded yung reference list. Okay? Each excess page will lead to 1 point deduction. And before doing your work, check the rubric for the assessment on your school book. Write the names of the members and your respective tasks, whether you are outliner, researcher, writer, proofreader, and overseer. So lastly, a group score will be given for this output, and scores will not be given to those names not listed in the output. Okay, so this is the summary of our discussion for today. So hopefully on our next meeting during face-to-face, you'll be able to draft your paper. Okay, draft a thesis statement, maybe, or draft critic paper. Okay, so thank you so much for listening. If you have any question or clarification, please message me. And you have to make sure that you are prepared for our next meeting, face-to-face meeting. Thank you so much and goodbye.